Well, welcome to the Little Hut podcast. Sunday evening, Brown on Cleveland inside the Little Hut podcast. And of course, we have a special guest today. As you guys know, that Sundays are always dedicated to candidates who are running for elected office. So this evening, I have the opportunity to sitting down with Cleveland Council candidate Mike Rogalski. Did I pronounce that correct?
That's perfect.
Brown, that damn Brown on Cleveland. Shake my pom poms, shake my pom poms, shake my pom poms. Damn it, I am shaking my pom poms. And if you don't know that this candidate tonight is not only in the hot light, but he's under the spotlight in the hot seat. And if you listen to our Sunday broadcast, you know that candidates are not allowed to bring any material inside the Little Hut podcast, which simply means that we do not tolerate candidates who think they're going to read from a book. If they want to serve as council person or mayor or even dog catcher for the city of Cleveland, they should be bona fide and qualified and certified by the electors of the city of which they are running. So welcome again, council candidate Mike. How you doing today?
I'm all right. Thank you for having me here, Kimberly.
Very good. So this is not your first run. Let's just get right down to it, right?
Yeah.
So the people who don't know you, please give them a snippet about who you are and from whence you came. Brown, that damn Brown on Cleveland inside the Little Hut podcast.
So I've been active in local politics for a very long time. In fact, I believe I met you during my early involvement, Kimberly. I think it was during the county council or the county government reconstruction when it became county districts. I believe that's when we crossed paths initially. Um, so I grew up on the southeast side of town, mainly in Bedford Heights, and I moved to Cleveland Heights. I graduated from Cleveland Heights High School. I have a bachelor's degree in urban studies from Cleveland State and a master's degree in public administration from Cleveland State. I've lived in the city of Cleveland since 2008. I'm proud to live in the city of Cleveland. I love the lifestyle. I love the friendliness. I love the kindness that you frequently can't get in suburban environments. I did run for office 4 years ago in a similar geographic area, Ohio City, Tremont, and downtown. I went into that race knowing I had no possibility of winning. I was no way going to be appointed or anointed for that seat. There was an incumbent that was running for reelection. But it was my way of introducing myself and continuing to build relationships in my community. And then the wild opportunity arose here in 2025. Redistricting, the ward is much the same, but it does include new areas further west, the Detroit Shoreway neighborhood, and it does cut out some of the ward toward the east, which cuts out most of downtown. It is the only ward that does cross the Cuyahoga River. This time around, this rarely happens ever. When the ward was redistricted, two council members were placed into this new ward, Carrie McCormick and Jenny Spencer, and neither of them chose to seek re-election for office. So it's left the seat wide open. So I'm running as fast and as hard and as strongly as I can to represent the interests of my neighbors.
Okay, for people who don't know, this is the new Ward 7.
Yes.
So let's be clear, because people are still confused about
Yes.
the new wards. The current Ward 7 is the Huff area, where Fannie Lewis used to be the councilwoman, right?
Yes. That was the previous Ward 7.
That
Yes.
is correct. Who now is Stephanie House Jones.
Correct.
Okay. And that ward will now be Ward 8.
Correct.
Okay. Where you're running in the Tremont area, it will now be Cleveland Ward 7. And the reason why I want to be very clear with this is because I have residents in Cleveland Ward 7 who think that you are running for the Huff area. And we got to make sure, because people are already voting right now, that people are extremely clear about these new ward changes. And sidebar, I'm going to say this, and it has nothing to do with you. I don't believe that the city of Cleveland has done justice when it comes to making sure that electors know exactly where the wards are and where they cut off. So right now, who's ever running an award is pretty much like a ball of confusion. So I want people to pay attention. But that's just my sidebar. That's not coming from, candidate Mike. Is coming from Kimberly F. Brown and Brown on Cleveland. So I don't want anybody out there running talking about Mike said, because Mike
Well,
didn't say it.
I
Kimberly
actually
F. Brown said
have
it.
encountered the same thing repeatedly,
Okay.
and not only have I encountered it personally with voters, there was actually two candidates who wanted to run for elected office in the old Ward 7, Fannie Lewis's area,
Hmm.
and they submitted the wrong paperwork and signatures for the wrong ward. So they're ultimately not able to run in that east side ward. They submitted it to run on the west side by accident. So you're not the only one. I'm glad you're sharing and talking about this issue.
Absolutely. So let's get down to you. Top three platforms. If voters decide that you are the chosen one to make it to the next level, and I'm not even talking about the general, because right now you have a primary, correct?
Yes.
Top three issues, Mike, for Tremont. Top three issues. Tell me why they are the type three issues, and let's go from there. Brown on Cleveland.
So the top three issues, the main three issues that I consistently hear from all residents across the ward is number one, property taxes are escalating. They're escalating to a point where it's no longer hypothetically they'll be no longer afford to live in the neighborhood in the future. It's happening now. We're in that moment now where it is unaffordable property tax wise. People are discussing and concerned with affordable housing, both for rental and for sale, quality affordable housing, and their inability to find it. And a lot of people are scared, especially renters, that if they're going to be able to continue renewing their lease each year or staying in the ward. And lastly, residents are concerned about public safety. I generally, when some of them will use the word lawlessness, they feel a sense of lawlessness in our community. So those are the main three things that I've been addressing because that's what residents have been bringing to my attention.
Okay, let's go back. Here's the issue that I have. I even talked to mayoral candidate Laverne Jones Gore about this. When people are talking about, such as yourself, affordable housing, please describe exactly what that looked like and what that is. The concern that a lot of us have is the term affordable and affordability. You say what, Brown on Cleveland?
Yeah. So affordability ultimately people decide what they think affordability is. When I say affordable housing, and when the vast majority of residents say affordable housing to me, they're not referring to necessarily low income
Hmm.
or subsidized housing. They're specifically referring to a gap in any new additional housing that's
Got it.
neither luxury nor designed for low income residents. And that's all that's being built in our ward and largely across the city.
Okay, very good. Public safety. There was a recent article that was created by BET, the Black Entertainment Network. And they were saying that they interviewed 38-year-old Mayor Justin Bibb. And Bibb was telling BET that crime reduction has decreased by 50%. 50%. A lot of people are saying that that article that was put out by BET is hogwash. You say what? Brown on Cleveland, Candidate Mike, under the hot light, in the hot seat inside the Little Hut podcast.
So the favorite thing about the residents in my ward, they're generally a lot of them are seeking they're social justice warriors. They do believe in a functional judicial system, and they also believe in helping people in need. In my ward, the ward has improved over the past 20-25 years. That is undeniable from longtime residents. What we're seeing now is essentially there is still violence in our ward in particular, especially downtown in some of the near West Side neighborhoods. But the biggest things that I'm hearing from residents are quality of life issues. There's consistent complaints about loud music,
Mm-hmm.
vehicles racing up and down the roads, vehicle street takeovers, and residents don't feel as if it's being addressed in any functional capacity that's helpful for them. They don't feel that their concerns are being met. Um, they felt like they were promised something else, several years ago in safety, but they still feel a sense of lawlessness, and they're looking for order in our neighborhood, but not at the expense of anyone, especially our vulnerable, unhoused residents and mentally ill. We want to get them treatment, but the residents are seeking a sense of order.
Very good. What is the demographics, the percentage of seniors that actually reside in this new Ward 7, Brown on Cleveland?
So the two, anecdotally and data wise, the two largest groups that I'm noticing increase just from being a long time downtown and near West Side residents are families with children are staying, and the ward is getting grayer. It's getting older. I didn't, I don't have the recent stat on me, but I think it's anywhere from 20 to 30% senior citizens. And the thing about the near West Side is in my ward, as large as it physically is, there's not a single senior like long term um, middle of the road facility. There are some lower income nursing homes and senior apartment buildings. There aren't many options for seniors in our part of the city to stay in their homes.
Got it. Let's turn the page. Let's talk about 601 Lakeside, where you are trying to spend a lot of your time. We know that City Council, the council has lots of committees. If you are elected and you have the opportunity to speak with the council president, who happens to be right now Blaine Griffin, it may change, come see, come sa. Really don't know. I'm not Miss Cleo, I don't know. But whomever the council president is, which committee do you think that you would serve best and why? Brown or Cleveland?
So I put some thought into this, and I think one of the big things in our city, especially in my ward, my ward is just the way the city of Cleveland was founded in 1796. My ward is physically the structures are some of the oldest in the city of Cleveland, and what we have crumbling infrastructure. We have electrical lines that regularly catch small fires in trees. A lot of the electrical poles and stuff. It looks like they're going to come down at any moment. I would absolutely love to serve on an infrastructure committee with the city of Cleveland. I have huge concerns about Cleveland Public Power. That's an entity I would hate to ever be sold to a private corporation. That's so amazing that a city like ours still even has a publicly owned utility. We
Mm-hmm.
must reinvest in that. We must put improvements into that, and ultimately, what's going to bring costs down for residents for electrical costs. So I'd love to sit on the infrastructure committee just because of the absolutely horrid condition of many of the city's infrastructure, roads, electrical lines, sewage, water. I mean, they're in terrible shape, and a lot of residents, the first thing they tell me, go, "My road looks like the moon. Can you please help me?"
Any other committee?
Um, I haven't really put any more much thought into that. Maybe planning, a planning city planning committee. I do have a background. I do have a background in urban planning, urban issues, and urban studies. And I think the one thing that I could bring to that committee, my ward is there's a striving to be a truly walkable community, and the vast majority of residents want a walkable community, but a lot of them actually feel as if they're being run over um, for density, high density housing and businesses at their expense. They want a walkable community. They want a comfortable community. They want safe sidewalks and safe streets to walk and bike on with their children. But I think what they're seeing is a sort of development pattern driven by developers and corporate interests at the expense of the residents, particularly the most vulnerable residents in the community. So I would love to see a lot more equity
Okay.
in how we design and plan in our community.
Very good. Some of the issues that I have with neophytes, although you're not one, candidates who are running for council, they are not aware of what a city charter is. They're not. I don't know if you are aware of what a city charter is. So, Candidate Rogalski, please explain to Cleveland Ward 7, the new Ward 7, forget that, everybody who's listening, what is the city charter and how would you, as a council person, use the city charter if you are blessed with the seat to become the new council person for the new Cleveland Ward 7? Brown on Cleveland, candidate Mike Rogalski, under the hot light and the spotlight inside the Little Hut podcast with Brown on Cleveland.
So good questions. So city charters are essentially the instructions manual for how a community should operate. And ironically, there are some communities in Ohio that have never been able to find common ground to be able to even pass a charter. I think is like Parma doesn't even have a city charter. And I think some of like Lorraine or Elyria might not even have a city charter, if I'm not mistaken, but it's all ultimately a blueprint of how a community is to operate, how a community should operate. And I actually sat on a charter review commission in the city of Bedford Heights almost 10 years ago. And what we did as the charter review commission members, we went through item by item, every single item in that city charter, the document, to look for edits, and look for improvements, look for deletions, and this is essentially an extremely important document. It's gonna provide what the mayor, what council, whose responsibilities are what everyone can do and what they can't do. And ultimately, when I sat on the City of Bedford Heights Charter Review Commission, I had a dream. It didn't ultimately materialize, but I certainly proposed it. I proposed bringing, because in the charter it dictates positions like law director,
Mm-hmm.
it dictates certain positions in the city of Cleveland, or excuse me, in whatever city it is. In Bedford Heights, I wanted to introduce a charter amendment that would include the introduction of having the city of Bedford Heights having a city planner to help improve infrastructure and design and aesthetics. Ultimately, the committee voted it down. But this is the charter is a way to make things a reality that the community wants. It can be used in the lieu of, if you can't vote someone into office that you want, you can amend the charter to do things that you want to help improve the community, and it's just a guidebook.
Very good. Last question for you. Legislation. As a council member, you are a legislator. Am I correct?
Yes.
If you could pass or introduce a piece of legislation as a newcomer to Cleveland City Council, what piece of legislation would you introduce to residents and why? Brown on Cleveland.
My very first order of business, because I've heard it loud and clear from residents, and I've heard it for a very long time. I want to end tax abatements for luxury properties, potentially across the city, but certainly in Ward 7. The vast majority of my residents, they are not against development. They are just against paying for it and suffering because of it. Ultimately, the city of Cleveland, we have a history of giving handouts to the already wealthy and powerful at the expense of everybody else and at the expense of being able to provide basic city services. So I want to end that, and I want people to not be afraid that they'll no longer be able to live in their community because of escalating costs.
Very good. I'm sorry, I said that was the last question. Shame on me. Recently in the news, this is the last question. Recently in the news, there has been a lot of conversations surrounding bullying. Not going to mention any names, but simply bullying within Cleveland City Council. Your take on bullying as an elected official for the city, Brown on Cleveland.
So ultimately, even as a city council candidate, I've certainly had my share of bullying from the establishment. I'm not an establishment candidate. I'm a change candidate. And as for bullying, how I see that personally and how I see that professionally and how I see that politically is ultimately bullying happens certainly on city council. It's a way people will bully you because they want something or they want you to do something or they want to have something that they need to get from you in some capacity. And there might be initially you don't want to provide that, whatever that is. You may potentially, most likely, for very good reasons. But my philosophy is, I believe in motivating people and making people believe in a vision to where that they want to voluntarily participate, where they want to voluntarily contribute, want to voluntarily do whatever they can to get something done. I don't. I know it's likely something I'm going to face, but I certainly, you'll never get me caught up or jammed up in me bullying anybody. I don't believe in it.
Brown on Cleveland. Again, we are talking with council candidate Mike Rogalski. He's running for the new Cleveland Ward 7. And one thing I can say about this young man is that, yes, we met many, many years ago before I had gray hair. You remember that, right? Before I had gray hair.
Well, I didn't
Don't
notice
be
your
a
gray
hater.
hair until you
Don't.
pointed it out. So
Now he sounds like a true politician. He knew exactly what to say because if not, I'd have kicked him out the little hut. No, not really. Listen, Mike, we got to wrap this thing up.
okay.
It's always great talking with you. I mean, always. And I am following your campaign aggressively because I just want to see you do some great things in the city and for the city. But now I am going to give you the opportunity to tell all Clevelanders, but especially those of the new Ward 7, who you are and why you should be the chosen one for the new Cleveland Ward 7 for Cleveland City Council. Once again, Mike Rogalski inside the Little Hut podcast, under the hot light, in the hot seat. And I'm going to tell you guys this, he wasn't scared. A lot of elected officials, Mike, they are afraid. They are intimidated. They run from the Little Hut podcast. And I'm such a nice person. I really don't know
You
why,
got
but
something to hide, maybe.
listen, uh, please just tell the people why you are the chosen one. Brown on Cleveland. Thank you.
So why I think I'm the best
Yes.
candidate of to win this race, I think there's a number of reasons. I think the vast majority of residents are making themselves known and known loudly that they want change, that they
Okay.
do not feel secure financially in their neighborhoods, and they don't want to continue down the path that we're on currently. They want to they want to improve things and make things more stable for everybody in the neighborhood. Ultimately, what I offer versus my opponents is I offer clear positions, clear policy, and actual hope for change and commitment to change. In my race, I was hard on myself for the longest time. I'm like, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Why am I not gaining the traction that I thought I would gain? And there was recent financial filings of both of my opponents. I don't really spend a lot of time attacking my opponents at all, frankly, certainly not at this point. Um, but they are raising record amounts of money for any city council candidate ever in the city of Cleveland. And I went into this I guess call me ignorant, but I didn't think that that was going to be something I would need or have to do. I'm doing the grassroots, the community connecting, and I'm not raising a massive amount of money, and I really don't want to. So ultimately, I'm proud of my ability to be still competitive and a strong candidate and a strong option for you, even at this massive disadvantage that ultimately should have knocked me out of the race long ago. So my commitment to you is genuine, it's pure, and I want to help everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
So, once again, I want to thank everybody for joining the Little Hud podcast. Your host, Brown on Cleveland. And again, everybody's, they are invited to the Little Hud podcast. They just have to follow some simple rules. And as long as you can follow the rules, hey, you're more than welcome to come inside the hut. We are fair, and more than fair. Once again, Mike, thank you very much for spending your Sunday with me. It's certainly appreciated.
I really, really appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate what you do in being an independent voice in a community where sometimes we lack information.
Absolutely. And we believe that people have a right to know. So Mike is active in his community and resides in Tremont. He graduated from Cleveland Heights High School in 2008. 2013, he got his BA from Cleveland State University. In 2014, he came out of Lakeland Community College with his real estate license. And in 2019, hey, he came out of Cleveland State University with his master's in public administration. Guess what, you guys? He wants to be the next council person, or should I say, the new council person for the new Cleveland Ward 7. Voting is underway. We know that people will be going to the polls on Tuesday, September 9th. Whatever you do, vote people, 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 people. The person who has your interests at stake. It's about quality of life issues. It's not about political parties, and it's certainly not about who has the most money. Kimberly Brown, adding my 2 cents to some political nonsense. Thank you for joining me. Brown, Brown, Brown. That damn Brown on Cleveland. Once again, Mike, thank you
Thank you.
very much for joining. Darn pom poms today. Yeah. Brown on Cleveland. Woo! Catch you on Wednesday night. And it's going to be hot inside the hut. Go on, Mike. Do that thing that you do, sir. Mm, mm,